Lights dim, a haunting Spanish guitar plays softly. The stage is bare except for a single spotlight illuminating a twisted, gilded crown on the floor. Narrator, voiceover in the shadow of empire, where bloodlines are both a blessing and a curse. A father's love collides with a king's duty. This is the story of Don Carlos, heir to the Spanish throne, whose life was a battlefield of flesh, mind, and power. A tale so dark, so twisted, it was nearly erased from history. But some stories refuse to die. Before we begin, hit that like button, share this journey with your friends, and subscribe to join us as we uncover the forgotten corners of the past. Your support keeps these stories alive because history belongs to those who remember it. The Spanish Royal Palace, 1545. A grand hall filled with courtiers in opulent attire. Outside, church bells ring joyously, but inside a birthing chamber, tension hangs heavy. Narrator: the year is 1545, and Spain celebrates the birth of a prince. But behind the golden ink of court scribes lies a terrible truth, a bloodline so pure it has become poison. A midwife cradles a swaddled infant, Don Carlos, whose cries are weak. Maria Manuela, pale and feverish, reaches for her child but collapses. Physicians whisper nervously. Physician 1, whispering the child's head, it's not right. And the mother, she won't last the night. Physician 2, hush. The king must not hear of this. The Habsburg blood is divine. The scene shifts to Maria's funeral, bells tolling mournfully. Young King Philip II stands holding the infant Carlos, his face a mask of grief and dread. Philip, to himself, my son, my empire's future. What cost have we paid for this crown? Narrator: Don Carlos was born a prisoner of his blood. 6 great-grandparents instead of 16, a family tree strangling itself. His mother, Maria, his first cousin, paid the ultimate price. 4 days after his birth, she was gone. The bells that rang for a prince now tolled for her funeral. Before we continue this tragic tale, let's take a moment to inspire. Like this video to honor the resilience of those who faced impossible odds. Share it to spread their stories, and subscribe to become part of our community dedicated to keeping history's lessons alive. Together, we can ensure no story is forgotten. A royal nursery, 1550. Wet nurses tend to a frail 5-year-old Carlos, who screams inconsolably. Servants exchange worried glances. Narrator: the prince's troubles were evident from infancy. Erratic feeding, chaotic sleep, and screams that pierced the palace walls. The court dismissed it as royal temperament, but the truth was darker. The Habsburg jaw was just the visible scar of a deeper curse, generations of inbreeding etched into his very cells. Flash forward to 1558. A teenage Carlos, now 13, stands awkwardly as an armorer struggles to fit him with a breastplate. His torso is visibly asymmetrical, his breathing labored. Armorer, frustrated the prince's chest, it won't fit the mold. His shoulder, his leg, they defy the steel. Carlos, angrily make it fit. I am to be king. Narrator: his body betrayed him. A sunken chest, a malformed skull, a lurching gait. The court whispered, but none dared speak the truth. The prince's deformities were a mirror of the Habsburgs' obsession with purity. Divine right demanded perfection, but Carlos's twisted form screamed of a bloodline's collapse. Carlos overhears courtiers mocking his limp. His face darkens, and he storms off, his uneven steps echoing. The weight of expectations can crush even the strongest. Like this video if you've ever faced challenges that felt unfair. Share it to remind others they're not alone, and subscribe to join our journey through history's triumphs and tragedies. Your support fuels our mission to tell these stories. A lavish chamber, 1562. Carlos, now 17, watches as a trembling shoemaker cuts up a pair of boots. The court stands frozen in horror. Carlos, calmly eat them. Every piece, or I'll have your hands next. The shoemaker, tears streaming, chews the leather. Carlos watches with a chilling smile. Narrator: the prince's cruelty was no longer hidden. From roasting rabbits alive to humiliating servants, Carlos's rage grew with his pain. His headaches, his deformities, his fractured mind, they fueled a darkness that terrified the court. A flashback shows Carlos swinging a glowing poker at a page who mocked him. The boy flees, screaming. Courtier, whispering to another he's not just ill. There's something evil in him. Narrator: the court physicians blamed unbalanced humors, but Carlos's cruelty was cunning. He targeted the powerless, wearing a mask of sanity for nobles. Yet his obsession with suffering grew, and no one was safe. Even in darkness, there's a lesson. Like this video to acknowledge the complexity of human struggles. Share it to spark conversations about history's untold stories, and subscribe to stay with us as we unravel the past. Your engagement keeps these narratives alive. A grand wedding, 1560. Elizabeth of Valois, radiant, exchanges vows with King Philip. Carlos, 15, watches from the side, his face a storm of resentment. Narrator: Elizabeth was promised to Carlos, a beacon of hope in his twisted life. But Philip, his father, took her as his own queen, a betrayal that cut deeper than any blade. Carlos stalks Elizabeth in the palace gardens, his uneven steps crunching on gravel. She glances back nervously. Elizabeth, kindly, to Carlos, dear cousin, join us for the banquet tonight. Carlos, bitterly, you were mine. He stole you. Narrator: Elizabeth's kindness was torture. Her warmth reminded Carlos of what he'd lost. He left unsettling gifts, dead birds, defaced portraits, his obsession growing into a dangerous fixation. At a court masque, Carlos whispers to Elizabeth. She pales and flees. Philip's eyes narrow, and guards move closer. Narrator: the prince's rage was no longer containable. He spoke of revenge, of taking back what was his. A single misstep would ignite his madness, and it came on a stone staircase. Betrayal can break even the strongest hearts. Like this video if you've overcome personal challenges. Share it to inspire others, and subscribe to join our community of history lovers. Together, we keep these stories burning bright. A narrow staircase, 1562. Carlos chases a servant girl, his face twisted with rage. He trips, falling hard. The sound of his skull hitting stone echoes. Narrator: a simple chase, a moment of rage, and Carlos's flawed body betrayed him. His skull fractured, his life hanging by a thread. A dimly lit chamber. Physicians drill into Carlos's skull as he convulses, eyes open, staring at the ceiling. Physician: nervously hold him steady. The humors must be released. Narrator: the trepanation was barbaric, yet Carlos survived. But the boy who woke was not the same. His paranoia consumed him, his mind a labyrinth of conspiracies. He spoke of killing his father, of claiming the throne. Carlos writes feverish lists of enemies, muttering to himself. Carlos: they all plot against me, even my father. But I'll be king. Narrator: his words reached Philip's ears. The king faced an impossible choice, his son or his empire. Sometimes, survival is the greatest victory. Like this video to honor resilience in the face of tragedy. Share it to spread these powerful stories, and subscribe to stay with us as we uncover history's hidden truths. January 18th, 1568. Philip, in full battle armor, leads guards into Carlos's chamber. The prince wakes, startled, as the room fills with steel. Philip, coldly: Don Carlos, you're under arrest. Carlos, stunned: father, why? Narrator: the king had read the reports, Carlos's plans to flee, to spark civil war. Duty over blood, empire over son. Philip made his choice. Carlos is led away, his eyes meeting Philip's one last time. Some say he smiled, others say he wept. Narrator: locked in a tower, Carlos began to rot. His body withered, his mind fractured. He spoke to ghosts, refused to bathe, and drowned in paranoia. A filthy tower room, 1568. Carlos, gaunt and sores-covered, pours ice water over his head, mumbling incoherently. Carlos: the fire, it burns, make it stop. Narrator: Philip knew every detail but did nothing. The prince's final words, tell my father I forgive him, were either mercy or revenge. On July 24th, 1568, Don Carlos died, alone and forgotten. Even in the darkest moments, there's power in forgiveness. Like this video to reflect on the strength of the human spirit. Share it to inspire others, and subscribe to keep history's lessons alive with us. A dark study, 1568. Philip burns letters, his face unreadable. Servants remove portraits, scrub records. Narrator: Philip erased his son from history. Portraits burned, records altered, a prince reduced to a footnote. But stories cannot be killed. 2 centuries later, Schiller and Verdi resurrected Carlos as a tragic hero, a martyr of love and freedom. A modern opera house. A tenor sings Verdi's Don Carlos, the audience in tears. Narrator: the real Carlos, twisted, cruel, broken, was forgotten. The fictional Carlos, noble and doomed, became immortal. Philip won the battle for the throne, but the story of Don Carlos, eaten by his own blood, refused to die. History is a tapestry of triumphs and tragedies, woven by those who dare to remember. Like this video to honor the forgotten. Share it to keep their stories alive, and subscribe to join our mission to uncover the past. Your support is the heartbeat of these tales. Let's keep them beating. End scene. The stage fades to black, the twisted crown still glowing under the spotlight.